4:30, I'd like to call this meeting of the Whitman Middle School Building Committee to order. If you could please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'd like to remind everyone this meeting is being recorded and will be broadcast on WHCA, as well as on their website, whca.tv. And once again, we want to thank them for their partnership and their assistance in getting out the word, so to speak. It's very much appreciated. Do we have anyone for public comment? Seeing that there is no one from the public, I would say that's probably a no. I would entertain a motion to pass over the approval of meeting minutes. I was informed that there was some typographical errors, and etc. And I think until they're purified and proper, we should pass over. But I would entertain that motion.
Motion to pass over.
That's second. Second. Okay. We don't have anyone on the phone, correct?
I'm waiting to see from Chris, but
Mike Carroll is on the phone.
Is Mike Carroll? Yeah, but he can't vote. So, all in favor of passing over the minutes? Okay, unanimous. OPM designer update.
Okay, so we want to, and I think Mike is he actually on the phone?
He texted them.
So we have to call.
yeah, I didn't even set up the phone.
Okay.
I don't know what phone he's on.
We'll
Somewhere. I like
you got it. He's on somebody's phone. We want just a couple of things that we want to update the committee on. And you can see the community forums, public outreach, town meeting. We have, last night, we had Community Forum 6. Had a really significant turnout, more than the other community forums. It was a fantastic overall overview and presentation, and a lot of good questions and back and forth responses, and a really positive overall outcome, we felt. We met this morning at the senior center, and really good outcome as well there. Probably 50 plus or minus folks that joined the conversation. Again, really good discussions and questions, responses, and overall positive presentation, discussion, overall outcome for the senior center conversation. One of the things that we did include last night and included today during the senior center discussion was the video, the animation. We have it here if everybody wants to see it. It's about 5 minutes, and but has everybody seen it? If not, we will just pass on. Okay, everybody's seen the animation. Fantastic. Okay.
It has been sent out to the committee. Perhaps we just resend it just in case, with the typo correction.
Which is already done.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, you got it. Yep, excellent. That just saved us 5 minutes.
Mike's on.
One thing that we also wanted to, that was included in the discussion last night and also today, that we feel is important to make sure everybody is aware. And that's this slide here. That there is and we want to make sure the committee understands, the public understands, that this is not the first time this has been responded to. If you recall back in schematic design and prior to that, questions were asked about changing the project and what that means as far as a vote. There's a rumor that we understand is out there, that the rumor is that the district can use the next year to redesign the project as a 6 through 8 middle school without an auditorium and stay within the MSBA pipeline, and also receive the MSBA funding grant, that $45.6 million. That is not accurate information. That's not an accurate approach. It's in fact disputed by the MSBA, and they've been very clear that the project scope and the budget cannot change is what's been approved. So the 5 through 8 middle school with an auditorium, that's the current scope, that's what's being voted on, and it cannot be changed. If it is changed, then the project is removed from the pipeline, and you go all the way back to the beginning of the process. New SOI, new statement of interest is submitted, and every year you're going through the same analysis, scrutiny, acceptance, et cetera, every single year with the MSBA. And as you all know, going through the process, that could take a year, it could take 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. The district, Whitman, is really fortunate to go in the first time and be accepted by the MSBA based on their evaluation, your submission. And so the MSBA has never allowed a district to substantially change the project after a failed vote and continue to move forward under the same statement of interest. And they have, most recently, for a third time, confirmed that again, that won't be the, that's not an approach that they accept. So, just want to make sure that everybody is aware if somebody comes to you or if somebody in the public gets approached with this as a viable option, a possibility, it's not accurate. Any questions? Just want to make sure that's clear. Okay. I think that is it. That is it. All of the, actually, one last thing. All the video series, the 8 videos that were produced are up online and available for viewing, as well as the animation, the final animation. And so you all can see those as well.
www.wmsproject.com.
You got it, that's right. And that's it from us, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay. I know Mr. Carroll's on the phone, but I believe he was relying on you. Mr. Carroll, did you have anything additional to add?
No, I think Corey nailed it. Thank you.
Okay. I do not see Mr. Stambrook here, but and I'm not aware of any invoices or warrants that need to be paid at this time.
Skipped over the
letter.
Oh, I'm sorry. Jeez, I was looking at the designer update. Update on letter to the editor, which I believe is included in your agenda handout.
Would you like me to speak to it?
Go right ahead, and then I'll tell you just as a cursory glance where I have a couple of things that I think are opaque, but go ahead.
Okay, so at the last meeting, September 19th, there was a motion and a second to ask me to look, because I had offered to write something to the Whitman Hanson Express, and there was a motion and a second that I do it. And as I was chairing the committee that night, I felt it was important to run anything by this committee before I submitted it to the paper. And then I believe, Fred, you and I have been at so many meetings together that I forget which one that I had suggested I have the letter ready for you to look at. And you said you wanted me to just exercise my First Amendment rights. So that's how I proceeded. I didn't share it with the committee. I didn't want to vote from the committee. I've simply written a letter. I had a lot of help from Julie and Troy to make sure that it was factually accurate. And I did not take an editorial stance. It's just here are the facts. And it will be published, I believe, this Thursday.
Okay. Any discussion on this letter? So this is going to come from Kathleen as a citizen at her address, not on behalf of this committee, nor does the committee have any editorial control over what's stated here. Did anyone have any questions on it for Kathleen, seeing it was brought up, within this venue, so to speak?
I have a question that's related, but sort of not related, also to what Troy was just talking about, the rumor that was out there and that information on that wonderful slide. Would it also be worth writing some type of a letter to the editor with that information in it? Because that information, to the contrary, went out to most Whitman citizens as well.
It's at the
That
end.
information is,
It's there at the very end, the last major paragraph. There is no provision at the MSBA that allows for an amended project with reduced scope, such as eliminating grade 5 of the auditorium, to be submitted during this funding application.
Right, but I have a question. So you signed this as Whitman Finance Vice Chair, Whitman Middle School Committee Vice Chair.
To identify myself to.
No, I know, but Fred just said it was going out as your address as an individual citizen.
Well, I submitted it as a member of the committee, not as on behalf of the committee.
Right. Well, I guess if I can, and I don't want to speak for you, are you asking should there be a vote of support for the building from the building committee in the paper?
for this, right?
Or this, or
Yeah,
a subsequent, you know, I, Fred Small, on behalf of the committee, or the committee as a whole, or is that what you're asking?
Yes. Yeah.
So it might be two different things right now, but I'm just wondering if we can.
It's my impression that your First Amendment rights are you as yourself. This gives the impression that this is written on behalf of this committee.
No, it was meant to identify me as a finance committee member and a building committee member so that the facts were coming from someone who has actually been on this side of the table, getting the information and making decisions. It doesn't say on behalf of the building committee or the finance committee.
I've got to read this more thoroughly. My concerns, and just giving it a quick look, the existing building does not meet state building codes for life safety, lacking the required fire separations and egress requirements of current, and I think it's important to distinguish, it meets them for what this building is today, so we're not in any violations. But, you know, should we be doing any construction, we hit a threshold, etc., we have to bring the building up to the newer codes. But it meets the codes that were in existence when this building was built and renovated, and we're not in any violations. That's the part that I want to, I mean, obviously it's too late now.
Okay, you finished?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm just going back to how you signed this, and I think that I would like to see it as you with your home address or something like that, or as a citizen, because people will take it that you are writing this as the vice chair of FinCom and a vice chair under the Whitman School Committee. Because somebody else recently did that, the same comments were made, that people thought it was put out there in their capacity as a member.
Okay,
I would feel better if it.
Yeah.
I will contact Tracy, but I still think it's important that people know that I sit on the committees. I'm not saying on behalf of the Whitman Middle School building or the Whitman Finance Committee for that matter.
Perhaps your first sentence in there, you know, while I am the vice chair of yada, 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 you know, this letter, you know, is coming from me personally.
I think if everyone reads this, it's a statement of fact, it's not a statement of opinion. I did not editorialize, and
Nor can we. We're not allowed to.
correct, so I know how to editorialize and I don't know how not to. And I was very careful to avoid any sort of please vote one way or the other.
And so with that said, with Kathleen putting this out as a citizen, should we or could we as a committee put out that, debunk that rumor as a committee, send a letter to the editor? Could we do that? Because that is mentioned, but it's not, that would be our only message as the committee, is what I'm concerned, that bad information got out there and some people just get stuck on bad information. We had great turnouts in the community forum and today at the
Sure.
Council of Aging, but that wasn't everybody that read that.
Yeah, and, you know, and I'm going to rethink because I had some conversation with Tracy at the Express, and it's normally their pattern that they won't publish something a couple of weeks before a vote, either town meeting or a ballot. I was able to have a conversation that she will accept from us, or from me, I should say, a letter. And perhaps if we draft something up saying, for next week before the town meeting vote, and then one before the ballot vote. What is at stake? Factual. What happens if it's a yes, and what happens if it's a no? And what happens if there's an amendment? And we just be factual about that, and perhaps we devote that next week's letter to that. And then the week after, it could be other, okay, so it passed a town meeting, here we are going to the ballot, and this is what it is. This is what yes means, this is what no means, and we condense that. Does that make sense?
So,
Consensus of the committee, how does that sound?
To me, isn't that what we asked Kathleen to do with this letter?
I think we
I think it's right there. What a yes vote means, what a no vote means.
She,
Debunking the rumor is a separate issue. I have it in one little paragraph.
yeah, that's a separate question. But
Yeah, I wanted to do it a little closer, and that's why I made those arrangements, but, we can just live with this.
Yeah, I think it's a good live. I think it works out pretty well. I'm okay with it. I just was wondering, shouldn't the committee put something in the paper to say that this is the building committee for the project?
Yeah.
Well, the building committee can place factual, just information.
Absolutely.
Just information, not saying vote this way, not saying vote that way,
Right.
not utilizing, if you vote no, the sky's gonna fall, it has to all be factual, this is what this means, this is what that means.
Completely understand. I'm just wondering if we haven't seen, unless this is it, and I'm okay with it. This is the closest thing to a factual piece that this committee is putting out. And if that's what we're gonna do, that's what we're gonna do, then I don't know if we need a second piece, but if not.
I'm fine not doing
we
it.
should. No,
I'm fine not doing it. I
Yeah.
just, I was trying to do the timing
Sure.
a little bit different, but I'm fine.
Yeah.
I don't need my name in the paper any more than it already is.
Well, I think if you were gonna do that, how would it come out? Would it be Fred Small where you live? Or
Yeah.
Fred Small what your
It would
role is?
be Fred Small, this is who I am. This is being written on behalf of myself, not the building committee. These are my, my words. And it would just be 110% factual. Because even though I'm talking for me, I'm still not allowed to tell people how to vote or try to sway a vote. I still have to stick to it.
Yeah, okay.
You can say you support the project.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can say
Yeah, right, you could say that, you support the project.
I, Fred Small, support the project as presented, and my only concern over this whole thing is that rumor out there, that Troy is adamantly really going after, put out there, that's not true, and it's not written anywhere, except in our presentations. And if people aren't watching it, and if people read the Express, and people read the Express, we haven't had anything out there, and I appreciate Kathy that one line, but that piece that Mike put together is strong, and I'd like to see that out there.
I just have a question, and I know what that is referring to.
Can you throw the mic over so Chris can hear? Fred, we can hear you great, but
I understand what that point was referring to, but back before schematic design was submitted, before that deadline, there was an option, correct? Because I was here at that meeting when MSBA said it wouldn't delay it all that long. But it would delay and there would be some costs, but it wouldn't be going back. But since that was before.
The option we were discussing
Yeah.
was to request from MSBA to allow us to pump the brakes, and we never even got that far.
Right.
In
we
other
didn't
words,
go
to
MSBA.
delay going on the meeting in October and going on the following meeting perhaps, or even later.
That's
you know,
correct.
To come up with something else. That was an option there, but once MSBA votes the project,
Yep.
they're voting the scope and the project itself. and that's what they don't allow to be changed. You know, there's the rumor that I was informed about that there may be an amendment on the floor. And based upon conversations with MSBA, if the project is amended, it's not the scope, it's not,
It's a fail,
they consider that a failed vote,
correct.
period.
And I agree with all that information.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if that originally wasn't misinformation back before the schematic design was submitted. That MSBA, I believe Mike Carroll had said that yes, there would be some time added to it and some costs.
So,
But that was before.
right,
August
before
30th.
schematic design.
Correct.
Once they vote,
Once they vote, it's.
that's what we're locked
That's
into,
right,
and that's
and I
what
agree 100%
this,
with that.
that's
So
what
I
this
don't
is
know if
speaking
some
for.
of that was put out there was from what was
Hang on, Mike.
talked about before the schematic design. That was my point.
I think there's been recent rumors that
Since
are,
schematic design?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
go ahead, Mike.
Thanks. So just for quick clarification, prior to submitting our package to the MSBA on August 31st, we had a discussion on that about possibly adjusting different options, things of that nature. We had talked about at that time, if we were to do that, the first step was that we would have been past our 270-day requirement to get local funding and authorization, and we would have had to go back to the MSBA and ask them for an extension. That would be step one. They would ask how long that extension was, and that probably would have been determined by how much change we were potentially doing. And I think at that time we were talking if we were to do, say that 5 to 8 change to 6 to 8 or to the auditorium, those are substantial changes, and those were going to then require a redesign that would be, several months long, if not 4 to 6 months. And we also talked about escalation continuing to grow during that 4 to 6 month period. I think we were talking $300,000 or $330,000 a month escalation during that time.
That's exactly how I remember it, Mike. That's correct. Yeah. Thanks.
So,
But just to close the loop, that was prior to submission. Now that we have submitted, we're really locked in with the project that we've moved forward with. There was some discussions back then about votes and could we rescind a vote, and the only way we could rescind a vote is if action had not been taken after that vote, and we have done that vote, or you have done that vote, and action has been taken at this point.
Correct.
so we can most certainly impress upon the Express and submit, the way I'd want to do it, I wouldn't want to just have just the one item, a yes vote, a no vote, by the way, anything that would change the project. We don't have the opportunity to go back, as far as addressing that rumor. And I'd be glad to have between, Julie, Troy, and Mr. Carroll work on the draft with me. And I would be submitting it as myself, unless you prefer me to submit it on behalf of the committee.
I say committee.
I say we
I
have
see it should be the committee.
Yeah, we all feel that way, we're all mad about that, so.
Clear the air.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we'll do is, as long as you entrust us, we will do that. We will give a courtesy to send that out via email with a no reply, because we can't debate or talk about it, but because of open meeting law. But that way there, everyone will have it to look at in advance as well.
That's a good thing.
But it'll be upfront and factual.
Excellent.
Yep.
Nobody can argue with that.
And,
They can argue with it, but
I know.
and I might include, and I came up with this today as we were at the senior center for the presentation. Start off with, nobody is telling you how to vote. We're here to give you all the information that you need so that you can make an intelligent, educated decision when you do vote. And I would also add on to that, please, your voice, make your voice heard, please vote. And probably leave it at that for an ending.
I'd like somewhere in there that we support the project, if you're writing that on behalf of the committee. Like, we support the project and the time is
Well,
now.
the committee has voted to, this is the project the committee has voted to
Okay, all right.
put forward.
Somewhere in there, I think, in support of that
I
project.
mean, it would be difficult to not have a building committee, not support the
I
project.
was just saying that to Mary.
It would be called the not building committee. Otherwise, I mean, I think
I
we
know
all
that-
took a vote, it all came out.
The rule seems a little silly.
As we had said, or I had said many, many months ago, you know, once the building committee voted, that's the project, and we all get behind it.
That'd be a nice line.
You know, this is the project the building committee, you know, has put forward.
Yeah, but I think there's a lot of elements that the town doesn't understand, that being one. I don't know that they definitively know exactly what we do and the process we got to get the vote to put forward. So I don't even know if they understand that, so I think it's important to lay that out.
So what I heard is somebody said that whoever put this out there is going to put an amendment on the floor. We need to be prepared for that legally. We need to have a legal write-up that should be published, not coming from us. We can all say we support it, but we need to have a legal team or whoever write a response.
That'll happen on the floor at
But that should
the
happen
town meeting.
right now, in whatever social media this is.
Well,
being networked.
but what if it doesn't happen?
I thought somebody said that this is already out there.
Well, this rumor's out there. This we can address.
Okay.
We don't need legal counsel to address this. What any amendment or how anything would work on town hall floor, town council will be there. Town council will be aware of this.
Whoever's doing this rumor, are they being supported by any type of legal counsel?
No,
Are we
not to
sure?
my knowledge.
Because if we aren't sure of that, we should anticipate that they are being supported by some type of counsel.
I don't believe that's the case at all.
Okay?
We've gotten an opinion from, or whatever conversation we had at MSBA in advance, and said, yeah, I would get it to town council in advance.
Right,
Town meeting, yes.
right. Prepare ourselves. We should be ready.
And I've got the email from the MSBA attorney.
Yeah, I would have that on board with the town council, so that they've had time to collaborate. Sure. Be prepared for something.
Just to add one piece of information to this discussion, those of us who were at the Council of Aging this morning, a person did ask, what if an amendment to reduce the budget by $15 million was offered at town meeting, and how would that be handled, and how would that be address the MSBA's position? And so that's something that someone is at least seriously considering doing, and at the very least the moderator needs to know that there's the potential of this coming.
Mary Beth?
Anything other than the vote as it's written and in the warrant is,
Anything other than what is written in the warrant article and on the, ballot question, anything different than that warrant question is considered a fail. So any adjustment to that number is definitely a failed vote. And
Period. No discussion. Right, no discussion.
No.
So,
If I can add one point of note on that, just to maybe put the final pin in that, is part of the requirement of the MSBA is that we fully fund their budget. So we have to have the vote for the full guy.
It's a good point.
that's a good way to look at it too. Okay. All right, so we're clear. Ms. Okina's letter has already gone there. We would prefer to say only her name and address, and you're going to call Tracy and see if that's possible.
Fully noted, I will.
Okay. And between AI3 and Mr. Carroll, we will devise one letter for next week and a letter for the following week, assuming, going under the assumption town meeting passes, for the ballot vote as well. And do that. Okay, next steps, I think we sort of outlined. As far as that goes, there is a meeting this evening with the school committee and the board of selectmen in the town of Whitman to discuss the funding method of the project. That will occur at 7:30. It's a fun take if you want to come to a selectmen's meeting. We'll be there. Next meeting date, and I know it says 11/7 there, and that would be still a meeting date. Hopefully it's a celebration date, but next Wednesday, a week from tomorrow, on the 25th, is when MSBA is voting on our project. I'd like to call a meeting for 6 p.m., which should be after they have voted on that project, for us to get together and just speak about the vote and any other occurrences from their meeting so that we can disseminate things. Does that sound okay for everyone?
Yeah, I'll throw the motion out there. Motion to meet next Wednesday, the 25th.
Wednesday, the 25th, 6 p.m. in the library here.
Second.
Just Mary Beth is a Campbell's Pro Committee meeting. I don't think either of us are on that committee, but
No, that's what I was just checking, it was just my,
check this out.
All right, I don't know that I need a formal vote. So next meeting will be the 25th at 6 p.m. We're going to do it a little bit later. Is Elizabeth still here? We would encourage your folks, and however many folks, to please attend that meeting.
On Wednesday?
On Wednesday, the 25th, at
Yes.
6 p.m. Okay, any other,
I have a question. This would be for Jeff and for Troy and Julie. We had a lot of requests from the MSBA of things that needed to be clarified. Now, did you all take care of that and stuff? Because there was no follow-up. I assumed
There's
that
one more hanging out on special
I'll
ed.
take care of it.
yeah, and
I
that's,
just got the email, I'll take care of it.
and that's something that you do? Yeah.
Especially
so
the
I-
space size.
Yeah, so it was just really cleaning up things, is that, as I understand?
Yeah, so with each of the submissions, the MSBA provides review comments, so they were providing comments to our schematic design submission. Those are due tomorrow. We've been collaborating with Mike, and he will be forwarding those to the MSBA, but with input from the administrators, and then Brandon actually we are collaborating with on a separate question from the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. And so all of that has been answered and will be responded to.
I assumed that it was, I just wanted to clarify it in my head and ask that question, so. But I assumed it would be taken care of by the people who had to take care of it.
the only thing outstanding is the sped piece that they had the other day.
Yep, one question.
Brendan?
I have a question. I know we keep bringing up the difference between the level debt and level principal when we bond this. And I know we all have different feelings about it. I feel like we haven't decided when that's going to be decided or when.
Tonight.
So at the selectmen's meeting?
Tonight.
Okay. Just wanted some clarity on that, because I feel like every time I present, I never know exactly what to say. So tonight, okay.
Yeah, I spoke to the chair today, and the two of us are in agreement that we'd like it done today, because so people would know when they
That's
go to the
clarity.
ballot. I personally, it was very important to me, but
Me too.
I'm just assuming that everybody kind of know what we're doing. That
Yeah.
part of it,
Yeah.
very important, so.
Good, thank you.
We're hoping.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments?
Just one more thing.
Yep.
Saturday from 11 to 2, there are more tours at the school. So if anybody in the community is available, wants to come by, what is it?
10 to 2.
10 to 2, I'm sorry. 10 to 2 at the Whitman Middle School. Feel free.
Are we still talking about the following week doing something?
If the need is there, I'll open the school up. Yeah, another day, for sure.
Okay.
So close.
Yep, for sure.
Question about, you had extended an invitation to the seniors to attend. Has anybody reached out to see if they could be provided transportation to attend tours in their Council on Aging van?
That was something that would be beyond our scope. I don't know if Mary had offered, anything.
Would it be helpful if I were to ask Mary if that's a possibility?
I'm trying to think if she can spend town resources.
Some of them seem
The
may
tours
not
are
be able to spend.
informational, they're not, they're not.
No, I get that, but to spend the time, I don't know.
If it's informational and fact-finding, I don't think it would, and somebody would have to say yes, because it's expenditure of funds, but it wouldn't be we're offering it to everyone.
I don't know if we usually authorize transportation for events.
Yeah.
In here it handles that.
Yeah.
I mean, you're welcome to call her.
Yeah.
I just don't know on that one, as far as that goes.
Be more than happy to accommodate. I told them today if they can get over there at a time, I'll be happy to have them.
Okay. And I thought it was a very boisterous, and based upon the parking lot, I don't know how many people would need a ride, because it was pretty packed. You know, and all up and down the street. But good to see people still driving. Any other questions or comments? And if not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So
Seconded. All in favor? It's unanimous. No one wants to stay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.